going to start another class of randomized algorithm that is specifically designed for optimization algorithm. So this is called randomized approximation algorithms. In case of optimization algorithm, what we have is we have a cost function, a goal, and we have to find a solution which achieves the goal with minimum cost or maximum cost depending on the cost function. So in that case, it is not like you are running the algorithm say k times and that output, the output which is occurring say more than t by 2 number of times or say more than k by 2 number of times, that is going to be your output. It is not like that. If you have output say alpha 1 to alpha k, then depending on your cost function and goal. Are you able to hear me properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so depending on your cost function and goal, we will choose that alpha which has satisfied the goal. So maybe the goal was minimum. Then whatever alpha was minimum, so in that case we'll choose alpha equals to mean over all this. Similarly, if it was maximum, we'll choose max over all this. So it is not like we have to find that alpha which is occurring more than k by 2 number of times. It is not like the case. Just like we have done in the decision algorithms. In case of Monte Carlo algorithms, what we are doing is we were finding that solution which has occurrence of more than half probability. That will be our answer. But here the goal is different, so answer is obviously different. Now suppose one algorithm is there which is say A is my algorithm which has probability of giving the best solution in say x is my size of input, then 1 by x. So 1 by x is the probability of giving an optimal solution. So will that be very bad? In case of optimized algorithm, it is not necessary that this algorithm will not be useful. What we will do is maybe we will run it size of x number of times, then we will take the optimal solution. So if it is 1 by 1 minus 1 by size of x, then the probability of not getting an optimal solution is, so probability of not getting an optimal solution, this will be obviously 1 minus 1 by x. Now if we run it size of x number of times, that means this probability will be 1 minus 1 by x to the power x. This is what, again we can come back to, this will be less than 1 by e, the formula of e, 1 by e. So if we run it size of x number of times, where x is my input, so this is my input. In that case, we will get probability of getting an optimal solution as 1 minus 1 by e. So running it 1 by 1, running it size of x times equivalent to, this will be not getting optimal solution. So optimal solution probability will be 1 minus 1 by e, that is greater than equals to 1 minus 1 by e, because we shown this one was less than. So this is actually a constant number. That means if we have an input, depending on that input size, so say my input size was n. So depending on that n, if we run it n times, it is guaranteed that we are going to get the optimal solution. Even if the probability of getting the optimal solution was very low, just like for one case it was 1 by n. But if we run it multiple times, then we are going to get constant probability of getting optimal solution. Now, how can we define an optimization problem? I am saying that for optimization problem, even this small probability algorithm having this much small probability is also useful. What is an optimization problem? We can define it.
If you're given some constraints, you're given some particular constraints, and like you need to find a solution set that satisfies the goal, like minimum or maximum, like you said, that satisfies all those constraints out of multiple solutions.
Yeah, exactly. So we have some function that measure whether the solution is satisfying the constraint or not. That is our cost function. We have a measurement of the optimization, like whether we have achieved the optimization or not. That some measure will be there to give us the idea of that. That is called the goal function. Then we have solution set. Solution set maybe sigma O, which is the output set. Then we have input instances. We have the language. Language you can write in L, that is actually dependent upon the input. And what is another two tuples will be required. One function will be required to map input to output. The way it is mapped, one function will be required for that. So say L is my language, M is my function. So these are the 6 tuples. So this is my input alphabet. I think it is not required to write. I'll write the M. So this M is the function from L to power set of sigma star O. Sigma O is the output alphabet. So sigma star O is the language generated by the output alphabet or all possible strings. Now power set of that string, that is the all possibility of solutions. Now M maps L. L is the language, so L is subset of sigma I star. Now X is a particular problem instance, so X belongs to L. This is my problem instance. That is the input. Whatever input we are talking about, that belongs to the language L. So whenever we are giving input to the problem, we are not giving an input which is an infeasible input for the particular problem. It is not desirable, and we are not going to calculate the chance of that kind of problem. So whenever we are giving input, that input is always valid input. It's not like that we are asking to get, say, we are supposed to give a number and we are giving some strings. It is not like that. So X is a particular item in the set L, that is the problem instance. M is the function that maps L language, that is the feasible input set to the feasible output set. So that is the function of the problem. You can think of like the algorithm. Then we have cost. Cost is another function, obviously. So it is union over, it is a complicated definition. This belongs to L, M of X to X. So all possible mapping, all possible solutions for problem instance X. For that, whatever value we are calculating as cost. So this is a number. Whenever we are talking about cost, we can put it, we can just represent it in terms of some real number or some positive real numbers you can think of. So, and for all X we are taking, that's why we are considering union. Now the next is my goal. Goal can be either minimum or maximum, because we think of only minimization or maximization. Minimum or maximum. So goal is a set, cost is a value. When for some problem instance we are going to get a solution that has minimum cost, then we will say that the goal is achieved and the problem is, or the solution is, no, the problem is minimization problem. If it is maximum, then we will say it is maximization problem. So if we say that, so say this is my optimization problem U. So if my algorithm is A, which solves U, that means what? This implies I have AX belongs to MX. So AX is a feasible solution. MX contains all feasible solutions. So AX is a feasible solution. Cost of AX for X. This equals to goal cost of beta X, where beta belongs to MX. This goal may contain more number of solutions. Now this solution is just one of them. Now if this goal is, I already said, if it is minimum, it is minimization. If it is maximum, it is maximization. But in every case, we can represent in this way. Although this representation is not that much important for you, but I am just telling for formalization. Okay, why these optimization problems are very difficult? Any idea? Particular problem instance X, we have to find what the size mx, set mx, then by checking all possible solutions inside mx, we can find which solution is satisfying the goal. So what we have to do is, we are given a problem instance X. For that we have to check mx. So mx is actually, it is going to be a set. Now set means it is going to contain a set of elements. For each of these elements, A belongs to Mx, whether goal is satisfied. If it is satisfied, then we will say that this particular A is my solution, or yeah, this how this A will be my optimal solution. But why this is difficult? Any idea?
Just finding like every single solution and then finding the goal cost in this like if it's like we will not be able to determine whether one particular solution will satisfy the goal cost with a definite probability when you get one particular solution. There are cases when you can reduce the problem to like when you get one particular type of solution, it is the minimum and maximum, but that cannot be like generalized to every single problem out there. So,
Here we are talking about a particular problem and a particular input also.
even then, like the mapping of m of x will be to multiple sigma star of O norm. Like it's a basically like even in that instances, like we will be needing to take into account of every single solution instance that belongs to that particular set of m of x. So like even so let's say like if I get one particular solution that belongs to m of x also, like I will not be able, not for every single problem, I will not be able to tell like it will satisfy this goal constraint. Like that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like so we will need to like find all solutions and then do it.
What you have to do is we have to find all possible solutions of the particular problem, and finding all possible solution, that set is actually infinite. It's practically infinite. Even if it is like, even if you are not thinking of infinite number of solutions. Okay, one theorem is there. So if you are considering one particular problem, say problem, if it has a solution, say capital X, then existence of that solution means actually existence of one Turing machine. If one Turing machine can solve this problem, there are actually infinite number of Turing machines that can also solve the same problem. So again, we can come back to algorithm. That means infinite number of algorithms. That means finite solutions. So what you are telling is almost correct, although probably you have not been able to frame it correctly. Is that given all the constraint, if we have to find all possible solutions of the problem instance and then look for which instance is going, which solution is going to satisfy my goal, then it is practically impossible. There are infinite number of solutions available, and even if you don't consider those solutions which are like just like increasing some how do I say, some kind of loop to which doesn't do anything. If you avoid that kind of algorithm, then also there are huge, extremely huge number of solutions available for any particular problem instance. That means this particular set, cardinality is going to be huge. Huge cardinality. Else it is not feasible to go and check each of them and see whether they are going to satisfy our goal or not. That's why this optimization problem is difficult to solve. when I said that for every solution there exists one Turing machine, have you understood that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now if we are agreed with this that optimization problems are really difficult to solve, now let us take some of the optimization algorithms. So example, TSP is there, vertex cover, that. Anything else you can think of?
Knapsack also was like event kernel.
Yeah, knapsack.
In Queens.
Hmm?
Maybe
Yeah.
in Queens.
I'm not able to hear you.
In Queens.
In Queen.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Then so many are there, like click is there. All these are some kind of optimization problem. Now let us see whether we can find solution to any of them. Okay, in case of TSP, what is our constraint? What is constraint?
All nodes must be
All-
visited.
You have to come back to the first node that you visited and cover all nodes.
Yeah, so it is going to be an Hamiltonian cycle. What is input?
Graph of with costs and weights, like connections between any cities and the cost of going from one city to another city. Basically, the undirected weighted graph,
Undirected?
weighted graph.
Undirected weighted. Any undirected weighted graph? Or it has to
Connected, connected, connected undirected. Connected, it must be connected.
fully connected?
Yes, no, because we need to visit all cities from a particular city, so we need to have connected.
Complete undirected weighted graph, right? Can I conclude this from your description?
It needn't be complete, ma'am. Like
Yeah, you don't need all edges, but it should be connected. So not
it
just
will
the
be a
edges.
path from one city to another city. That's it. Just connected, not complete.
But what the problem says, is it complete or is it not? In case of TSP, by definition, it is actually complete graph. That means there exists path from every city to every other city. That was the restriction given to. That was the flexibility given. It is not restriction actually, it is flexibility. That's why you are sure that there are Hamiltonian cycles. And how many of such Hamiltonian cycles are there? Do you have any idea?
N factorial, right?
In
Or maybe n factorial by n, maybe n minus 1 factorial. I need to see, ma'am. 1 second.
It should be n minus 1 factorial.
then it is undirected. Then
By 2.
exactly. So we have Hamiltonian cycles where number of such cycles equals to n minus 1 factorial by 2. So these many number of cycles are possible. So you know that size of mx is this. This is huge. It is not possible to physically go and check all of them, find the cost and then calculate which one is my optimum. for a large n. It is not practically possible. Okay, goal. I forgot to tell goal. Constraint is this. Cost is just addition of all the weights.
Weight. Yeah.
Sum of weights. And goal. Your goal is
Minimization.
First.
minimum. Okay. So we have to find the Hamiltonian cycle in the complete and undirected weighted graph which have minimum cost. This is TSP. What about vertex cover? What is vertex cover? Can anyone tell me? Do you remember?
Set of vertices that cover all the edges of the graph.
Yeah. Set of vertices that covers all the edges of the graph. Now suppose I am taking this. I'm very bad at drawing straight lines, so please ignore this. So this is V1, V2, V3, V4, V5. If I take V2, V4, V5, will that be a vertex cover?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is vertex cover. If I take V1, V2, V3,
Yes, ma'am.
yes?
Yes. Oh, it has to cover all edges of the graph. Okay, no.
No,
Sorry.
no. It will not be.
Which
V4,
edge is not
V5.
covered?
V4, V5 edge is not covered.
This one is not. So this is not. So minimum vertex cover problem mainly think of like minimum vertex cover, right? It is minimization problem. So problem where you have to find minimum vertex cover. What about SAT? SAT means satisfiability problem. This is probably the first problem which was shown to be NP complete. But we are dealing about the optimization version. So, in case of satisfiability, what we do is we deal with the CNF. CNF means
Effective normal form.
which one? Consumptive. Have you said consumptive?
No. It is basically or of ands, ma'am. The and of ors. If I'm right.
and of or. So yeah, this is called actually conjunctive normal form. Conjunctive normal form. Here we have some clauses which are ANDed. What is a clause? Clause means literals which are or. So that's why it is and of or. What is KSAT problem?
Checking if it's satisfiable or not.
Check.
Like,
Okay, first tell me what is satisfiability problem. Check what is satisfied.
like some formula, let's say A and B.
So we have some formula and we are going to check whether
It's satisfied or not.
So what we have to do is we have to, if a formula is given, we have some literals. So these literals we have to put some value. We have to form a truth table. That is what we normally do. We build a truth table over the literals and then we check whether if it is satisfied, then ultimately what will happen in the last. Yeah, tell me.
There exists at least one assignment of variable, basically like one solution that returns true. Like if it's satisfiable that.
Okay, so how do you understand that one solution is there?
We iterate through all possible, like by boolean algebra we take 0 1. Let's say I have 3 variables for a particular class. I need to take 2 power 3, so 8 possibilities are there. Like I check for all 8 possibilities, and like if at all, so if I encounter one particular solution, say 0 0 1 that satisfies and gives it true, it means it's satisfiable.
So for some of these, if for some of the assignments, when the formula is there, say this is my formula. 5 for some of the assignments, say these are my assignment, this is going to be 1, then I will say that for these assignments, say these assignments, this formula is satisfied, right? Is it so? Yeah. So, but it might happen that for this, say these assignments, some of these literals were satisfied, or some of the CNFs were satisfied, you might say, but the formula as a whole is not satisfied. That can also happen, right?
In the respective clauses are like some 0 or 1, like you mean like a and of course. Over here everything must be normal. In CNF everything must be satisfied for the whole thing to be satisfied because it's and of course.
Yeah. So formula, say my formula is something like this. This phi is say x1 or x2 and x1 bar or x2 bar or x3 bar. And x2 or x3 and x1 bar or extremely. Now you try to draw the truth table for it. You will see. I'll give you 5 minutes.
And what should we do after drawing the truth table?
You will tell me, I will fill this up.
Okay. Two zeros and rest ones, ma'am.
Yeah,
Can I
the
tell
first
the
column.
table?
What?
First column is 2 zeros and rest all ones.
First column, 2 zeros.
Column.
First column.
What? Okay,
Column,
first
column.
column you say. These two are 0 and then rest are 1. Okay.
Second one, all ones except the last place.
All ones except the last. Last I will fill. So this is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. Okay, third one.
0 triple 1 0 triple 1
0,
triple 1
1,
and 0 triple 1 again.
triple 1. Okay. Then this one.
5 1.
5 1 0 1 0. 5 ones and then 0 1 0.
What about 5?
1. 5.
0 1 1 is 1. And rest all. And 1 1 0 is also 1.
This is 1.
No, that's not 1.
Be 0 0 1 1.
Yeah, 0 0 1 1.
And then 0 0 1 0.
Okay. So for this formula, we have got 3 assignments, right?
Yes, ma'am.
This one, this one, this one. these three assignments can give us make the whole formula satisfied. So this is actually good case. I was supposed to give you another bad case, but somehow I could not find it. So it might happen that for none of the cases you will get a 1 here. This can also happen. Okay, that means for none of the assignments of these literals you can actually satisfy the formula. In that case, it comes to this k satisfiability. That means what? For some, when you assign some values to the literals, how many number of these clauses are satisfied? You just count them. When you, for one assignment, you satisfy maximum number of literals, then you take that assignment as MaxSat. Okay, so MaxSat problem is maximum satisfiability. Obviously, the best case is when all of them are satisfied. Here, MaxSat, you can get that for these are the three options 1, 2, and 3. Right? These are the three options. So all these three are optimum solutions. You can choose any of them, and that will give satisfiability. Now this is called maximum number of clauses are satisfied for a given for it is not given this is MaxSat. So there are some other versions also. This KSAT, if I say KSAT problem, KSAT is at least k number of literals has to be satisfied, or k number of clauses has to be satisfied. What is a KCLF? Any idea?
That will satisfy
No, CNF.
KCNF. Maximum K variables or something.
Yeah. So KCNF means actually we have maximum k number of literals in a clause. Similarly, EKCNF is also there, where E stands for equality. So here actually we have each of the CNF has each of the clauses, not CNF. Has exactly k literals. If for that problem we are searching for satisfiability, then it will be EK satisfiability problem. Anything else? So max K sat is there. Max K sat means no. This I should change the definition, not like this. So we are taking KCNF and applying maximization problem over this. So maximum number of clauses with K literals in each clause at maximum. K sat, I don't know, I have to just check whether this definition is correct or not. This is to be satisfied. I think it is wrong actually. This one is not true. K-SAT problem deals with the problem where each of the clauses can have at max K number of literals. If for that problem the CNF is satisfied, then it is K-SAT. So it should be, it is not true. Satisfiability of CNF with clauses having K literals at max. So these are the versions. Next class we will talk about how to solve this kind of problems. There are some approximation algorithms that can solve these hard problems. All of them are belonging to NP-hard class, right? KSAT or mean vertex cover or maybe TSP. Each of them are NP-hard. So our target is NP-hard. We know that NP-hard is having exponential complexity. So we want to relax some of these constraints such that we can get polynomial time complexity. This polynomial complexity comes with some restriction. That restriction is with restriction. This restriction is we have to relax some of the constraints and we get this solution, whatever we are getting, that is actually near optimal solution. Now, any question, any doubt?
No.
No doubt.
Okay. So, have you read already this the approximation algorithm for TSP?
No, ma'am.
Vertex cover we did in one elective, graph theory elective, but that was in third semester, but not for TSP. Vertex cover we did.
Okay, then that is better for me. Otherwise, he will get bored. So if I start, then if it is already known to you, You please stop me. Okay. Then I will not make you bored. I'll continue to something else. And you have your CT on this Saturday, right? Which time do you prefer?
Yes, ma'am. Oh,
Which time? 10 to 11, 10:30 to 11:30, 11.
Ma'am, 10 to 11, ma'am. It finishes in the morning. Okay.
Yes.
You will wake, all of you will wake up now at that time.
yes.
Okay then. 10 to 11 then. No problem. Okay. Bye then. You have class?
Yes, ma'am.
Few have class.
Yes. It's a minor class. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.